Well, a pleasant good morning, one and all. Welcome to the Great Pacific Northwest. We are here at the Fairfield County Park in Monroe, Washington, just north of Seattle, for the start of Seattle Orcas Women's T20 exhibition. Today's opening match of the week featuring the Redmond Raptors and the Washington Waves. Brian Walters with you here, and it is Manali Patel who is in the middle with the captains and officials for the toss. Manali?
Welcome to the toss. It's match number one here at the Seattle Orcas Women's T20 exhibition. Toss time. We'll start with our dignitaries. I've got Colonel Asad Singh, Sean Carey, CEO of the Seattle Orcas. Manjesh Chaudhary, who you have probably never seen in pants before, is our match referee. And Ramesh Raju Adapalli and Mohan Misala are two umpires. To start things off today, it is Anika Kalan with the Redmond Raptors and Geetika Kodali with the Washington Waves. We're all set for the coin toss. If we could please pass the coin on to the captain. Yeah, sure. Let's give it a flip. Heads. Heads is the call.
Heads it is.
And heads it is. Anika, you have won the toss.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Play well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You've won the toss. What are you going to be doing and why?
We're going to be having a bowl first. It's a beautiful venue, but it is our first time here, so we just like to see how the wicket is, how the outfield is. So yeah, we'll be having a bowl.
Geetika, had you won, what would you have been done?
We would have chose to bat first.
So it works out perfectly for you. Now, conditions-wise, it is a hybrid. How do you think it's going to play today, Anika?
I think that's an advantage. I mean, bowling first, we're going to see how it is, but it looks really flat. The groundsman and everyone did an amazing job. So we're really excited to have the honor of just playing here and really excited to see how it works out.
Geetika, this is a pretty big moment here. It is a pretty important tournament, and it's a launch of something potentially a lot bigger. How do you play in it?
Yeah, it's so exciting to be playing in this. It's such a beautiful day. Like, couldn't have asked for a better start. So yeah, just excited cricket to come.
Any key players to watch out for on your side?
I would like to say all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Backing the players 100%.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, both of you. Best of luck today, and we'll see you at the end of the game. There you have it. It is the Raptors who've won the toss. They have chosen to have a bowl first.
So there you have it. Anika Colin calling correctly, and it will be the Redmond Raptors who will be in the field. The Redmond Raptors, the Washington Waves, it will be coming into bat shortly as this again in this really important tournament right here in Monroe, Washington. We'll see the teams on the screen shortly, and the teams are going to be really interesting. Watch out as you see the marquee player there, Anika Colin. There are going to be some big names in the middle there. Kiana Joseph, Achina Pereira, two international players. Of course, you have locals such as Ritu Singh, Jessica Walathkamoa, and a number of other really solid players all around. Just a really exciting time to be in this environment as we see the Washington Waves. Manali, I think you're going to see some really exciting stuff from these Washington Waves players. As I say good morning to you.
Good morning, Brian. Yeah, absolutely. It's two teams that are going head-to-head that are quite stacked. Looking at quickly the Seattle Orcas team before we do move to the Waves, there are three Canadians as well, along with Kiana Joseph, as you've already mentioned, to bring in that experience from the West Indies. So plenty of experience from overseas. And the Orcas, on the other hand, you've got the experience and the captaincy of Geetika Kodali. All set for ball one, and it's going to be a play and a miss to start.
Play and miss. Ardoshi, it is going to be a really interesting start, and for me, one of the most important elements is going to be seeing how the ball behaves on this artificial, I say artificial, it's a hybrid wicket. We can talk more about the details of that wicket later on, but to me it's a really, really important element of what we're seeing on the way here. Good delivery, clipped in the air to short mid wicket, no run. And I'll tell you, Manali, the electricity for me is in the air.
Yeah, pretty momentous occasion this too, isn't it? Seattle Orcas taking the lead on this. Three teams. We've got 4 days of action here at the Seattle Orcas Women's T20 exhibition.
Ooh, little extra bounce that time. For me, what you just said is extremely important. It highlights the, I would think, tremendous talent level in North America. You mentioned several of the players in this tournament from Canada. Of course, you've also brought in some internationals, mostly from the Caribbean, and we can talk more about them in a little bit. But all in all, this is just a truly interesting situation to have cricket developed in this country. He has a single first run off the bat. One run in as Refor delivers into this innings.
Yeah, for those of you who are just tuning in, it is a 4-day tournament. There are 3 teams. It is going to be a double round robin, 6 matches in total, and finals to be scheduled on Sunday. Looking to continue the growth of women's cricket with this tournament right here, and great to see the Seattle Orcas getting behind that initiative.
Relatively important initiative. You yourself as a former player, and I don't know if I'd want to call you an administrator, but you know the importance of developing the women's game. Talk a little bit about how important it is in that context.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been playing women's cricket in the Americas, and I say the Americas, including North and South America, for quite some time. We've had a few shares of our chance as this is slashed away. Great pickup. And great quick single as well. We've seen a fair share of our regional qualifiers. The US has seen a few more of the global qualifiers.
Well,
And
talk more about that as we get to the end of the first over, 3 without loss. But to the extent that much of what you see here is a result of just really hard work by the players themselves. But then, you know, you have entities like the Seattle Orcas who are creating the platform for these women to succeed. How important is that?
we see that's massive. What people generally will not see behind the scenes is just how much work there's been put into growing the women's game, especially in the USA. You've got about 500 girls across the border playing the game. Would they love more game time? Absolutely. But initiatives like this obviously make a big difference because they bring in that addition of games, they bring in that addition of exposure. And given the success that the USA women's team have had of recent times in the global game, you know, we're talking getting to the global qualifiers multiple times. We're talking this last global qualifier being their best showing so far, ending up in the top 6. That doesn't happen without initiatives like this. That doesn't happen without the backing, without the investment, without making sure that you give the players the right pathway, the right sort of coaches, the right sort of training to be able to get better with time.
So well said. Lekashetty, it is who's opening the ball in from the southern end. First delivery played into the offside for a single. And this whole tournament can be a long dissertation on how important the women's game is and in terms of how well they've done with their development. But what I like here is that you have a healthy mix of local talent and international stars. Some of these international stars in the field from the West Indies, for example, Kiana Joseph just finished playing against Australia in the Women's T20 World Cup a few weeks ago, and here playing alongside some of these local players. Really important, as you'll see that develop throughout the week.
We're just talking about the number of players that are playing in the US. You've got 500 approximate women's cricketers across the entire United States. But of that, only about 20 are actually in regular connection with the national team. And that includes your pathway players as well. So you can see that there's certainly room for justification of this sort of tournament. There's certainly room for growth. That's going to be a wide as it's
So it is helping to swing the ball. As you look at your screen, the wind is blowing from the right to the left. So that will aid with the outswing, but you'll have to get that ball started a little bit closer to the stumps, Lekashetty.
That should be wide again.
Yeah, just
Good to see the shape. Just has to readjust that line. Brian, when you look at those numbers and I say, 20 people in national team connection or contention, 35 competitive matches over 7 to 8 years. That is nowhere near what we're seeing the likes of an Australia women's team play, a South Africa. And even if you drop it a notch and you look at the associates, whether you're talking Nepal, whether you're talking Thailand, we're still lagging behind. And so if we can try and get these girls to get more game time, more quality game time, it makes a big difference.
absolutely makes a big difference. Just by the way, we can highlight the umpires who are in operation: Ramesh Raju Adepali and Mohan Misala. Good delivery. A little bit straighter. A lot more full this time, though. Clipped away into the leg side. So just 3 singles, make that 4 singles off the bat to start. You have a bit of a slow start. It's not surprising to me that Annika Colin, having won the toss, chose to bowl first, because you want to see what the pitch is going to be doing, and then that will give you a good look at things as you go throughout the innings.
Well, interestingly enough, Githika Kodali said that she wanted to have a bat first anyway.
That is interesting.
So it does work out that both captains get their way. Just in terms of conditions, though, when you're fielding, and mind you, I'm going to have to say the weather in Celsius, and you'll have to tell me in Fahrenheit. We're looking at about high 20s today. There isn't a lot of shade. And when you're out there for 20 overs on the field, it does tax you a little bit when you come in and bat in that second inning. So that fitness aspect is going to play a role.
Oh, knocked her over, full and straight. She finally does get one on the stumps, Lekashetty, and the middle stump is pegged back, 8 for 1.
3 wides, a couple of singles, and this one was an absolute gem. The first wicket goes down, and it's exactly the breakthrough that they would have liked with the ball, the Redmond Raptors.
Yeah, it's Nick Cardoshi who would have wanted to have played this one a little bit straighter. Look at this. This is a bit of a swipe across the line, very much across the line. Credit to Lekashetty. That ball moved in slightly, but I think a straighter bat probably keeps that one away from the furniture. So she'll probably look at that and learn from it. Nick Cardoshi, she's a wonderful young player, by the way. Really like her a lot. But this time I think she goes across the line. 8 for 1 is the score. So 8 for 1. First blood to Lekashetty and the Redmond Raptors. New batter is in, Taranum Chopra. And I really like her. I mean, I like all of these players because they're all so exciting. But Taranum Chopra from, I believe, the Washington, D.C. area is another really young, exciting player. Oh, she has it looking really good now, Lekashetty. It's not often that you see a bowler take a wicket where the next ball doesn't have express pace on it, because that just energizes the bowler and the team itself.
I think it comes down to confidence as well. The conditions are new. The players have come out. It's the first game. They're still trying to get a good read on the surface. They're getting a good read on the little bit of patch they've got to run up as well, just off that pitch right there. There's a little patch right where the pitch surface starts that's a bit softer, and I think a lot of the pacers are going to have to adjust for that as well. That's going to round off the second, though. It's 8 for 1.
So Lekashetty with a good over. 3 wides in that over, so she will have wanted to get the line right. But once she got the line right, she proves to be very difficult to score off of. I think bowling a good length, and once she corrected the line, that got her in the position where she needs to be. And it will be Jessica Gamoa back to start over number 3. I like left-handed fast bowlers, Manala Patel.
I think I've heard that before.
Probably.
Known you for a little while. Brian Walters.
Short delivery. it's going to be interesting to see the bounce in this wicket. That was short enough to sort of effect a pull, but on that occasion it actually was collected by the keeper down by the ankles.
Yeah, well, you know what? Stability is so important as a batter. Short delivery, definitely in the swinging arc. We'll try and get another look at that, because if you are not balanced, it makes it very difficult as a batter to be able to play a shot with control. And on that occasion, the ball was there, but she just seemed to swing the kitchen sink at it instead of waiting on it and actually having some balance through it. It is a bit of a slow start, this. You would have expected a few more runs in the power play overs. First 6 overs, just the 2 fielders allowed outside.
Quick single. Not the most accurate of throws from mid-off, so they do get another run on the board. But you're exactly right. A slow start. Scoring at the rate of 3.6 and over. 3.6 and over from here projects to 72. I think you'll want much more than that. The boundaries are not very big. You and I looked at that coming in. I would estimate 50, 55 yard boundaries all the way around. And it will be interesting to see at what point the Washington Waves can attempt to accelerate.
I do believe, though, that the outfield can be quick. You just need to time the ball well on this. You just see a hesitation in the batting, though. You know, 1 wicket gone fairly early. Not a lot of runs on the card. But one of these two is going to have to decide to push this rate.
In the air, this is catchable, and it is put down at mid-off. That is a really catchable ball. That is Cami Desai who puts that one down, and she's a better fielder than that would indicate.
Well, she's a wicket keeper. And I know she doesn't have her gloves on, but you would expect Cami Desai to take this 10 out of 10 times on a normal day.
Yeah.
And she did the hard work. She got there. She got her hands in the right place.
Oh, lovely. Look at this little late cut. That runs away for 4. That is expertly played. That is a brilliant shot. And the first boundary of the day off of the bat of Amar Parkar.
Well, that's how you add insult to injury, isn't it?
Yep.
You drop someone the ball before the very next ball goes for 4. Really well played. Played late, and that is balance that I'm talking about. Holds the position and just uses the pace to be able to put this away.
That certainly is what you referred to. The outfield is much more quick than you'd realize. And Amar Palkar, 7 from 7. Taranum Chopra, 1 from 4. The score is 14 for 1 after 3. So 3 overs in the books. Jessica Wolfgamoa striking in her second over. And it is now going to be Leka Shetty to continue. Up and over. Look at that strike all the way for 6.
Well, hello there. I had said someone between the two needed to take on the attacking role. I wasn't quite sure it was going to be both of them, though. This is a fantastic shot. Goes down the track. Excellent hit. Gets it past the side screen as well. And this right here is danger signs if you're the bowling side.
You know, when you said that, I was going to follow up with a question about Taranum Chopra herself. Do you defer to the international player, or do you attempt to take the ball?
Impressive thing is the mindset for me. And when we see these girls play, they have a mindset that's very attacking, which is ideally what you want in the modern day game, I should say. That has not been replicated by a lot of sides in the Americas yet. And what they're doing is they're keeping up with some of those bigger nations. They're trying to close that gap a lot faster than we would expect them to close.
I'm going to go back to the effortless nature of that 6. Just an elevated off drive, and it flew, I would estimate, well, it's 50 yards to the boundary and then another 20. So that went 70 yards in the air. And it landed clean outside of the rope. So that is a really, really good-looking strike by Taranum Chopra.
She knows she doesn't get extra runs for extra yards outside the boundary line, yeah?
Ooh, hammered and put down. I'll tell you what, that struck very, very hard. And that is Kiana Joseph at short extra cover. You can give her credit to say she saved 3 runs, or saved 4 runs. But my goodness, maybe you want to try to take that one. So 3 dots after that 6, that luscious 6 to start the over. That's a short delivery, and once again a little bit too wide. So that line needs to be corrected as to Lekashetti.
I don't think I could say that it's done much because if you look at the next 3 deliveries, they've been fine. And the thing is, we do play a version of the game now where it's part and parcel to be hit for boundaries. What's been impressive is the next 4 or 5 deliveries that she's come in, and she's done so well to bring it back on the spot that she wants.
That is absolutely accurate. It's only about an over ago where we said the projected score was 72. The projected score is now shot up to 100. So they're feeling like they're sort of pushing in the direction that they want to. 1 ball remaining in over number 4. Ooh, now that time she tried to overhit the ball. The elegance of the first shot was not repeated, and she does very, very well. Give credit to Lekashetti to come back and bowl a really good over after having conceded the 6. End of over number 4, 21 for 1. So 4 over the books. This Ritu Singh. And this is dragged into the leg side for probably a couple of runs. Came back a little bit slowly, but she'll get 2 runs without much fuss. Ritu Singh, yet another one of these young, amazing players from right here in the country.
Oh man, and she has grown leaps and bounds, hasn't she? I've suppose seen her play over the years. Seen her at a regional qualifier about 4, maybe 4.5 years ago now. I mean, she's obviously known for the power that she can bring in with the bat, but a handy all-round.
And she's an all-rounder in the most impressive of ways. Needless to say, her cricket skills speak for themselves as that's pulled away into the leg side. But absolutely brilliant softball player, high-class gymnast, and a number of other sports that she's more proficient at than the typical person that you come across on the street. So an all-rounder, I think, doesn't quite do her justice. Really, really good young player, Ritu Singh. And there's the proof. Big swipe across the line that time for, I believe that is Taranum Chopra. Comes up empty, and the furniture is pegged back 24 for 2.
2-1. Two big wickets here, and it is a good time as well to get the second one just when these two were starting to look more and more comfortable. This partnership's been broken. You mentioned Ritu Singh's abilities off the cricket field. That's a pretty good example of her abilities on the cricket field.
I would agree.
You just have to feel here that she got a bit impatient because there's a lot of turn on that delivery. Massive turn into the right-hander, and the bails have been dislodged. Excellent delivery. Second one gone. It's 24 for 2.
Oh my goodness. Seeing that wicket delivery again, there was a decent amount of turn. Pitching probably on a fourth stump line, and that ball hit middle and leg. So that tells you, in addition to everything that you have to pay attention to as a batter, you have to watch how this ball is turning, as it's going to be Sani Vagela taking the place of Taranam Chopra. Ritu Singh just into the attack for her first over, already has a wicket. Oh, look at that. Where did that go? Wait to see what the signal is here from umpire Ramesh Rajadipalli. No signal, so that's an edge.
I got in an awful position there. Just looked very uncomfortable. There was a bit of extra bounce as well. With the turn and the bounce, this is going to be difficult. They need to watch her very well, Ritu Singh. Does have best bowling figures of 4 for 3 on debut against PNG. She knows what she's doing with the ball. I love that she's able to give a bit of air to it as well, allowing for that drift. There is a bit of breeze going across this ground as well.
Absolutely brilliant stuff from Ritu Singh into the attack, and immediately takes a wicket. 1 for 4 are her figures, and that is the end of 5. 26 for 2.
Our play with
What a fantastic setting here, and already we are in the thick of action here, Manali.
well, this is going to be interesting. Kiana Joseph now comes in with the ball. The West Indian international starts with a bit of flight, just a little too straight. Amarpal Kaur might feel that she's missed out on this one.
It's just fascinating to see how the slow bowlers have already starting to take grip on this game. There's some turn and bounce.
Leg side again. This time it is going to be a wide, and this is where the women's game I find is so different. It is the lack of pace that can make it very challenging for batters, because you are then expected to generate a lot of that power, a lot of that pace off the bat. Continuing to target that leg stump line. I think she might just need to come a little bit more over, because there is turn on the surface.
Both what we saw in the previous over and this over with Kiana. She's bowling in that little no man's land kind of spot. Very good length. It's difficult to get that out in this kind of conditions.
Good length out. Not a lot of room to work with. They've done really well to squeeze this for a single. Divya Saxena in the covers, keeps it to 1.
Modest run rate here, 5, just over 5. They have played some big shots, but there have been a lot of dot balls in the middle, like you mentioned a while back, Manali. It's not letting them get away with the tempo of the game.
And that dot ball percentage is such a talking point, isn't it, in
Yes.
T20 cricket? As it continues to pile on, adds more pressure on the batting side, adds more pressure on the two batters out of the middle. And what you don't realize is how quickly it allows the bowlers to then get through their overs. You don't get a lot of time to adjust because of those dot balls. Flighted. Down the track, will get it in a gap. It's not the best of shots, and she's not in the most of control, but it will pick them up another run here.
You could see they're already trying something out of the ordinary. This is not probably the shots they will play, but they're practically heaving or at least going for big heaves every single ball.
And this is where that dot ball percentage creates that pressure, forces you into shots that you wouldn't typically play. Across the line, and that is not the shot you want to play to that delivery. That's going to be wicket number 3, and they're falling apart here, the Waves. They need to try and find a way to score runs without losing wickets, and that's a big one. It's the international and Amarpal Kaur who's gone. Kiana Joseph comes in from the West Indies, first match, and she's picked up a wicket.
She's been creating a lot of energy amongst the team. You could see that they are feeding on from her international experience. And well set Amarpal Kaur, who goes for one sweep too many, and that was plumb in front. Third wicket falls for the Waves, and they, as you said, are in a bit of a spot of bother here, falling apart, so to speak.
6 overs gone, 29 for 3. At the moment, the Waves have struggled. Just the one batter in double digits. Amarpal Kaur, she was out there for 15 deliveries, and she's back in the pavilion as well. And not much to save for the rest of them. 53% dot ball percentage, and it's very evident when you look at those strike rates. Just 29 on the cards. At the end of the power play, they've managed what you would expect to be a much better power play. Bit of aggression to start. This is really well played. It's going to run away for 4 runs. Picked up beautifully into the leg side.
That was her first ball, or rather this was Isani Wagela, I guess. And that was well timed, well picked up. A bit of a loosener, so to speak, but you got to cash on these, especially when the times are so tough. With 3 wickets lost, she made it count for her team.
And that's exactly when to start an over, isn't it? Just puts pressure on the bowler. Gets bat on this. Very, very wayward from Achini Pereira. Canadian international in with the ball. Generally has better control than that. But now 2 deliveries in, 2 boundaries back to back. Bowler under pressure.
Absolutely, and I suspect how much of the breeze, the strong breeze across the ground, has got to do. She looks like a bowler who depends on the drift. Both the balls on the leg stump, slightly drifting downwards, and gave the batsman, batter, a lot of space to play that.
That's a full toss. And that has resulted in a wicket. Just going to wait for confirmation. Yeah, the finger's gone up. It was dipping as well, so I don't think height would have been a concern for a no ball. Not the best of deliveries to pick up a wicket, but sometimes it's not those deliveries that pick up the wickets. It is the ones that are, well, let's just say, the ones that you expect to see out of the ground. That's going to be wicket number 4, though.
She was in the zone, wasn't she, Sani? After 2 fours, eyes lit up with that full toss. She went for it. Probably a bit of mistiming and slight lack of power. And that just ballooned up on the boundary, long off fence, being caught.
That's a big wicket gone. Ishani Vagala, she's going to have to walk back. It is 37 for 3. Trouble this. Lots and lots of trouble for the Waves. 4 bowled in a decent area. It's amazing how much a wicket helps, doesn't it? Into the leg side. We'll get it past the fielder. It's just going to be a quick single. Let's head down for a quick interview. Let's see who we've got as a guest.
In Seattle, Washington, at the Seattle Orcas Women's T20 exhibition. Some brilliant cricket already on show. I am joined by the CEO of the Seattle Orcas, Sean Carey. Welcome, Sean.
Hi, Adam. You've actually got the microphone and I need to speak into it.
Oh, I thought you had a clip on. Anyway, no worries. So I'm going to ask Sean a quick question here to get us started. Sean, tell us what's going on today, just for people who might be tuning in for the first time.
Sure, thanks, Adam. Well, we've got this, as you introduced, the Seattle Orcas Women's T20 exhibition. The Washington Waves and the Redmond Raptors are starting us off here. We have an exhibition. Women's teams playing over the course of the next 4 days. We'll have a final on Sunday. What it is for us as an organisation is the ability to take a leadership role in really celebrating the women's brand of cricket, building the awareness around it and providing a higher level of competition for the athletes that are on display over the next 4 days. They don't get as many opportunities as the men do, and as an organisation we felt it was appropriate to try and really build awareness and elevate the game for them, give them an opportunity to play high level of cricket. We've got international players here represented from the West Indies Cricket Board. They've just come back from the World T20 Cup, which was played in the UK. So we have some high quality international players mixed with some American domestic players and some Seattle local homegrown athletes as well. So as an organisation, we're just really proud to be able to give them an opportunity to play at an elevated level.
Yeah, no, fantastic. And the level that's on show is like amazing to see already. I guess a big question here is like, why now? Obviously there's a big boom in women's sports in the US, but why now for the Seattle Orcas to be able to do this?
Well, LA 28 is only just around the corner. We know that the men's team will represent the USA at the LA 28. We're not sure about the women's team, so we want to be able to represent USA cricket in the best possible way we can, and to do that you need both men and women playing equally together at the same time. So we would love for the opportunity for these girls to further develop their skills, one day hopefully get the opportunity to play for the USA, and hopefully that is just around the corner at the LA 28 Olympics.
Yeah, and what are your hopes with like this tournament and your plans with women's cricket in the Pacific Northwest? Like, what do you hope for the future for women's cricket here?
I mean, ultimately, you'd love to see Major League Cricket have both the men's and the women's program, similar to what the UK and the ECB have done with the 100. I think it's only fair that we have the opportunity for female athletes to play at the highest possible level in this country, and that is Major League Cricket. So that is ultimately the medium to long-term goal. But really what we need to do is to show the government, legislators and decision makers that we need to improve our facilities for both men and women cricket. We need to have better infrastructure. We've made a wonderful effort out of this facility for these girls and for these women, but ultimately they need to be playing on international quality facilities to further develop their skills and their experiences. They'll get a lot out of this facility, but they'll get a lot more if they play on proper turf wickets with great outfields, great practice facilities. So ultimately we need to showcase that we need to improve the infrastructure here in Seattle for our locals to improve and then ultimately play Major League Cricket and international cricket.
Yeah, you mentioned you guys have been fairly new to the role now, Sean, in here in Seattle. What has struck you most about women's cricket? Not in the Pacific Northwest, but in the country as a whole. Are there things that have struck you from an executive standpoint around women cricket?
To showcase that women and the ladies playing here today can play at a very high level, and we've got to take this to the world, and we've got to take this to the American audience and show them that the women should be playing as much as the men do and be given the same opportunities.
Yeah. No, so thank you so much, Sean. So that's a great insight into what's happening now. We'll go back to the action.
Great chat with Sean Carey, the CEO of the Seattle Orcas. Always great to get their thoughts, especially with all of the empowerment that they've done to make this tournament happen for women's cricket in the USA. Heaved across the line, and that's going to get through as well. We have seen a replay of this shot and these sort of wickets 3 times now, and the Waves really need to try and figure out a batting tactic that's going to work for them, because at the moment they're falling like flies, and they all seem to be falling into a similar shot as well. Not quite the ball that you want to get down and sweep into the leg side. It's going to be the 5th wicket down, half of them back in the pavilion, and all sorts of trouble here.
And that's a big one, so to speak, Manali. That's good. Geetika, their marquee player, their captain. If there was any particular situation where the team is looking up to her to probably hang in there and put the situation in, fortunately, that's not to be this particular game. So she's just given one more single and has picked up 2 scalps. That's just incredible.
Yeah, a lot of trouble here. 8.1 overs gone is 41 for 5. And this is where, as bowlers, you've got to be able to control your emotions. You might get hit for a couple of boundaries. You might have a couple of loose deliveries in there. But if you can come back and come back strong. And as I say that, that's been floated up as a full toss.
They've got themselves in a situation now, even the full toss is looking like a great ball because they're so tentative. They're holding themselves back. So they will have to find some character here. The Waves.
Very tempting length, looking to drag the batter out of their crease. Sanvi deciding not to fall for it. So this is where I feel like the 2 deliveries that she's bowled to pick up the wicket, she's actually finished that action well enough to be able to get that dip. And that's exactly what's beaten the batters. Last couple of deliveries have been floated up. She doesn't quite have that finish on the delivery. She's not finishing with the wrist the way you're expecting her to.
Yeah, that's a clear sign of someone who's learning the craft of wrist spin and is still sort of struggling to get the dip at the right time.
I can tell you she's a very versatile player, Achini Pereira, as this is another misfield. Achini Pereira started off as, well, she's definitely a batter, and I'm going to get back to that story at the end of this over. I believe there's 1 delivery left, but that is going to be called an over. 9 overs gone, 42 for 5. So Achini Pereira is actually a solid bat. Started her playing career as a pace bowler, ended up with a shoulder injury, and then she switched to off spin, and she's now going to leg spin. So when we talk about all-rounders in the women's game, that's someone who tries to do it all. And she's quite the live wire in the field as well. Very athletic, very agile, and she's someone that you can trust on the field with your eyes closed.
Brian did mention about her all-round capabilities in multiple sports. That's clearly an athletic mind who's always sort of inventing and reinventing herself. Great story there, Nali.
Excellent. It's going to beat the wicketkeeper, and it is going to run away for a couple of runs here. Kiana Joseph back in the attack. She's picked up the 1 wicket, and she is bowling a line that is now the right line. A little too straight when she started in her first over. Second one was decent. This right here is a good line, just testing the outside edge of the bat.
Probing line. Truly. Once again, a lot of flight in this one. Like you mentioned, the slow bowlers, the spinners are having a great say at this stage of the game. They've got it stranglehold.
Oh dear. How has that missed? Looking to heave into the leg side again. They're not reading the deliveries well enough. They're not understanding the ball is dipping on them. Have to be able to have the confidence to play through the offside, to go down the ground. There is flight on offer for that. It cannot always be a knee-jerk reaction to get down on that knee and go leg side.
This is been a pattern so far in the last 5 or 6 overs. The number of sweep shots attempted across of the line. Probably the first few big shots that they got, the scores that they got in the first few overs where they played it straight. So there might be something in there that if they have to attempt playing it straight, they might get more runs and preserve their wickets versus trying these cross-batted heaves.
Looking to go inside the line of the ball, but doesn't manage to be able to put it anywhere in the field. Very experienced campaigner, Kiana Joseph. She debuted for the West Indies at the age of 16. And she's showing all of that experience here on display. It's going to be a single to end the over. Halfway point, 10 overs gone. It's 47 for 5.
So it's going to be the first water break or drinks break, as we call it. The weather is a bit warm, and in the Washington it's been so for the last few weeks now. But the breeze is kind of a bit of a relief. But the players do deserve a bit of a break. There's been a lot of action that has happened so far. We've lost a number of All right, welcome back. We just fresh out of the 5th wicket that's fallen.
You're muted.
Welcome back. It's 47 for 5 after 10. And that's been heaved on the square leg fence for a a bit of spot for his team, but this particular ball sat up nicely on the leg side.
Just a little too straight, a little too.
Taranum Chopra earlier, and looks like this is Taranum Chopra now, and she started
Well, she's been playing an anchor role, certainly sticking around for a while, but it might be up to her now to start looking for ways to accelerate. You don't have to accelerate by hitting 4s and 6s, but you certainly do need to figure out ways to keep the score card ticking.
absolutely. There she is. Tries something out of the ordinary. Just rocks on the back foot and pushes towards a mid up, towards a long off. That's a single, and that's the end of the over. The end of 11. We are 59 for 5.
Scoring has been a little slow. Scoring rate 5.36. Projected scoring rate based on that score, or the projected score based on that scoring rate is 107. I think you need more than 107.
100%. They've kind of been oscillating between that 90 to 110 range so far.
With a very quick outfield, you would think that proper batting and sort of a smart approach should get you somewhere in the range of at least a run a ball. 125 to 130, I would think, would be more than appropriate to aim for.
You said it, absolutely. And Yashaditi has the keys to that. There's again, this time on the leg side. She tries to pull that shot towards the square leg fence, gets a single, gets us off the strike. Ritu is the new bowler. She's already got a wicket in this game.
She got a wicket in her first over. First over bowling during the power play, a wicket, and only conceded 5 runs in that over. So she's a really, really good off spinner. You saw that for the first time, the amount of turn that she got in that over. So very, very accurate.
Once again, what we have seen so far, that was played tentatively, Taranum. A bit too forcefully, I guess. The ball was in the air. Ritu tried to attempt a catch and successfully, but continues that same tantalizing length. Once again, flighted in that little good length spot. The batter tried to reach that. That's the length they have disturbed this Waves lineup so far. They've been bowling that little tantalizing length, which is a bit of a no man's land. Single this time, push towards long on. Good over so far, Ritu.
It's a really good over. You mentioned her length. It's a length that is asking the batter to come forward. But keeping it just out of reach of driving range. And so, as a batter, you're going to have to figure out a way to get closer to the pitch and to be able to sort of negate that. But she's really difficult to attack her to Singh.
Yeah, this time it was a little short, gave enough space for the batter to rock back and pull it towards that mid-wicket fence. And that's the end of the over. At the end of 12, 62 for 5.
He mute.
But Taranum is playing her bit here, trying to sort of push the score. She's got a good strike rate. I guess it's all over to Yashaditi at this point. A good left-right combination of batters.
Well, you may have heard, Shield, that they say if you want to know what the score is going to be in a 20-over match, double the score after 12. Doubling the score here would get you to 124, which is sort of the range I was referring to earlier. But I think the work still needs to be done. And this over now being bowled by Lasya Bandaru, who is an excellent cricketer herself. And so it's not going to be easy to accelerate, but you have to figure out a way to punch the ball into the gaps and at least look to pick up singles.
Once again, that was taken on the full with a couple of steps down the line. The point there, Brian, is they've lost a lot of wickets. So they probably have lost a few of their reputed batters who could potentially put momentum. But then in T20, it just takes one good period of and one good day for a particular batter to come and shine for them to cross the line. That's a beautiful shot. That's been placed so wonderfully well through the cover region by Taranum. And she also came a little shimmy down the wicket, picked up on the offside, on the full, and placed it. That was a sweet placed shot. No power, just sweet timing.
Well, that's the counter argument to having lost a lot of wickets. You can still play proper cricket shots and get runs on offer. This is played on the ground through the offside. The outfield is lightning fast, and all you have to do is place it. So you don't have to go bonkers hitting 4s and 6s, hitting over the ropes. Just placing the ball properly will get you runs, and I think this needs to be what these two were thinking of.
A shout there. Once again, that's that symptom of trying to play cross-batted. We saw till the time they're playing straight at the bat, they're getting a lot of returns. The moment they get to cross-batted, the risk level goes up tremendously, and they've lost a few wickets. They could be careful here. Straight batted again. That probably is the length that Lasya would like to bowl. So a bit of a mixed over from both sides. 13 gone, 67 for 5. It's just heartening to see in a T20 game so many spin talents, spin bowlers having their mark. The breeze is just incredibly hard across the ground now. Ritu continues. There's a lot of flight in that ball, tipping right at the time. And Yashaditi, she's having a bit of a problem right now, pushing the rate.
Well, you mentioned that she was playing sort of the anchor role. And the anchor role is good only for so long. You're down to the last 41 balls of the innings, so it's going to be time to figure out how to accelerate past where she's scoring at the moment.
That was super optimistic as an appeal. It was Outside the leg stump, probably hitting way high.
Well,
But it
it's-
gets her off the mark. That's something that they would be appreciating. Taranu has got the momentum going, and Yashaditi, the least that she can do right now as part of her anchor, if she's trying to be the anchor, is to take the single and get off strike as quickly as possible. Once again, good length. Steering down towards third man, no run.
A run a ball from here gets you 207. It's starting to feel like 120, 125 is not in the cards.
That was played uppishly, slightly wide of the bowler. Taranum is taking her risks, calculated ones, but she's getting runs, the scoreboard ticking, and that's the key at this point. I must appreciate the way Kiana has rotated the bowlers here. She understands the condition, brings all her experience. She's capitalized on the slower bowlers, asked them to flight, bowl that length consistently. Oh, that was one good shot by Yashaditi. Another cross-batted sweep shot, but played little. Didn't go all kitchen sink at it. Just moderately sort of placed it towards the mid-wicket fence. Single taken.
Running out of delivers, 37 balls remaining. 70 on the board.
That's fantastically picked up. Short, hit me kind of a ball. Probably would be kicking herself that she missed out on a boundary there with a straight hit towards the square leg fence. 14 gone, 71 for 5.
So, Sheil, let me highlight something for you. You want partnerships. There's been one partnership, not counting this current partnership, that is worth 30. The 5 partnerships before that went for 8, 16, 5, 8, and 4. So if you don't build partnerships, it becomes difficult for you to sustain any momentum to push toward the back end of the innings like you'd want to at this stage.
So well said there, Brian. Single then again for Tarano. In fact, we've been seeing T20 cricket for a couple of decades now. Still, sometimes teams struggle between getting too soon into the attack and falling into the trap of losing wickets, or taking it too deep and then missing out on the momentum. I guess it's the fine teams are pretty good at balancing, knowing the fact that they have to still 120 balls to play. It's not just a small term thing. And which is where I guess you got to start taking the risk, capitalize on the power play in a measured manner, and then look at things and then plan out the next course of action. They lost too many wickets in the first 6 overs, and that's probably hurting them right now. Lassia has got a good grip over Yashaditi here. This time trying something a little more industrious. Played in the air but safe. More importantly, off strike.
Well, you mentioned losing wickets during the power play. The power play, 29 runs, and they lost 3 wickets.
3 wickets.
Going at the rate of 4.83 and over in that power play. And they've consistently lost wickets since then. A couple of, I would say, injudicious shots playing across the line. And generally speaking, they have not really shown maybe the application that you'd want to be able to score consistently at this stage of the innings.
Taranum is playing 19 of 15. So she's trying her best. She's probably one of the few batters, if not the only one, who's scored more than a strike rate of 100 so far. And there's Yashaditi again. She is trying her best, but she's not there. And that's the end of...
Hello, welcome here.
15.
And
Wow.
right now I have
Number
with me
15.
Vijay Beniwal. Vijay Beniwal, if I start introducing him, the list is super long. So we can talk about him the whole day and all that he has done for cricket, not only in the Seattle area but overall. So I'll start off and introduce him by saying the big cricket contributor for the area. Let's talk about days of cricket when you came to Seattle and how things have progressed since.
Thank you, Jagat, and thank you all for having me here. I came to country in 2000. I'm a cricketer. If you go back and look at 2000 in cricket, I think from a playing there was no way to watch the game, and Dish Network was the only way. And I still remember we getting together in somebody's house, getting the subscription and watch the game and keep our appetite going in terms of more cricket.
Yeah. No, and things have improved drastically since then, right? Like, how many clubs are there? And your Microsoft Cricket Club is one of the biggest clubs out in the area here. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure, Jagan. So when we started in 2008 teams, Microsoft used to have one team. You fast forwarded from 2000 to 2026. In 26 years, we have 4 teams. But now we have more formats. There's a 40 overs, there is a T20, there's a 100 ball, there is a over 40. So if you look up, I think the total number of clubs, I would say, probably have grown from 6-7 clubs to around 50 clubs. Grounds have grown from 3-4 grounds to probably 15 to 20 grounds now. And the best part, I think, in all this when we're talking about is the youth. I think I always said, people like me playing cricket is good recreational, engineers over the weekend, but the cricket will really do well when the youngsters are playing, and that's where the reach will grow.
Oh, amazing. So, recreational cricket, I said, is just that, right? But I think the next big chapter came in your life when 2021 with Seattle Thunderbolts. So tell me more about that and the overall experience with it.
It's been a roller coaster in every sense. It's been very exciting to see the growth. When I was playing cricket, we always dreamed about having a semi-professional, professional cricket in US. And 2021 is when the biggest change for US cricket happened, when minor league started. And Seattle got a team, and we are called Seattle Thunderbolts. It has been an amazing journey in every way. Seattle on cricket map of US is a very small dot, or it was. Right. Even prior to minor league started, I think one of the achievements Seattle has achieved is some of our guys have gone to play for US national side, and even women. So I think credit to the whole system here that we could achieve that. But with coming of minor league team, and I think we had a rough first year, obviously, because you're playing on turf, new grounds, etc. But we pulled it all together in 2022 and actually won the minor league US championship among 25 teams, which is quite a feat to win it from there. And I think it's a story probably Netflix should make a documentary about.
No.
The good thing is the players from that batch or cohort have actually gone, and Andrea Gauss, Harmeet, Shadley, Shubham, all these guys have gone well beyond minor league to be playing in big franchises in the world right now. So hope they'll keep doing well, cricket keep growing, and Seattle keep producing good players.
Oh, yeah, fantastic. That's that. Now, one last thing, women's cricket, the girls' cricket. Any opinions on that? Looks like it's a good setup here.
Oh, I think this is as good as it gets from a point of view to have such a good setup, having the best of the women players in the country come here, organizing it to a way I think this is exceedingly well done. So well done on Orcas on organizing it, putting all this together and setting a benchmark for any other women tournament if it happens. This sets the bar for them. So I was engaged in women cricket in 2005. I was coaching one of the regional teams, that was going from here. Our cricket was that we had to get equipment. We have to do 100 things for their game between, I think it was the Bay Area team versus Seattle team.
Yeah.
If I compare that and I compare this, I mean, we are talking about going 100 notches above. And I really compliment and tell Orcas has done exceedingly well by having this here in Seattle, and this should help cricket grow significantly.
Awesome. Thank you, and that was Vijay Beniwal with us.
Thank you.
Back here for the last 4 overs. Make that the last 3 overs and 5 balls. Good words there from Vijay Beniwal. And going into the last part of the innings here, Manali Patel, as it is going to be the left arm of Jessica Wilkamua. How important is it that Yashadi Titeke pushes on from where she is right now, 16 from 24?
A lot of work to be done, for sure. But this is the time you've got to do it. You've got 4 overs, less than 4 overs with that first delivery bowled. I know we've had a lot of discussion about the anchor role and the aggressor role. At this point, you've still got 5 wickets in hand. She's got to be the aggressor. In fact, both of them need to try and accelerate at the moment. It's just not a decent enough run rate. And you feel that this second innings coming up, they will be able to chase this fairly easily.
Oh,
How?
somehow that misses everything, and I believe we'll go for 4 byes. Or no, there's the signal. In fact, no signal from the umpire, so that might have taken an edge. But let's take a look at this again, Manali.
Angling in, somehow manages to get some bat on that. Somehow it's missed the stumps and the keeper. Healthy runs, healthy edge, it's going to help.
You need runs. You'll accept runs any way that you can. The
We'll
signal.
try and get the score updated as well, because it says 4 byes on there. It isn't, because byes were not signaled. It
Yeah.
was signaled off the bat.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at that. But 4 runs nonetheless. Yashadi Titeke is being aggressive. A little bit of football from Jessica Wilkamua. She could have hurt her ankle like that. But another productive start to the over. 7 runs from the first 3 balls. You need more of this.
A little bit of FIFA inspiration, you think? I mean, the World Cup's just wrapped up here in North America. You've got to surely use a little bit of that inspiration.
No.
Not sure I recommend it with a cricket ball.
No, I would not recommend it with a cricket ball. That's a good way to be out for the rest. In fact, she's a left-arm fast bowler. That's a good way to injure her plant leg because she tried to stop it with her right foot. So she'll have to be careful with that. I know the instinct is there to use the feet, but not the smartest thing to do, I would think. Scoop shot. Didn't see that one coming. 4 runs.
Why have you been struggling to find runs when you could play that? That's an excellent shot. Done really well, Sanvi, to make sure that she's waited on this. She watched it all the way onto the bat face, and she's placed it absolutely perfectly for 4.
And we may have missed it, Manali, because I believe that I just saw the scorecard have a no ball.
Won't get bat on that this time. Just looking to open the face, but she's got to be careful because there is a fielder right there. Third is fairly straight for that shot exactly.
Well, 2 balls remaining in the inning that make that in the over. A bit of excitement. 12 runs from the over already. I think that qualifies as the biggest in the inning so far. This will land safely. And they need way more than the runs that they're generating at the moment, but they'll take all of these.
That's an interesting fielding effort for me. I'll see if we can try and get another replay of that. The reason why I'm saying that is it was in the air for quite some time. And it's not like the fielders are that deep. I would have expected a better effort.
I have to say I agree completely with you. I would have thought that at least, shifted into third gear, trying to go after that. This is skied. Similar efforts. And again, this ball lands when you would think it was in the air long enough to have been taken. I'm going to say that you probably expect more out of your international player than that. But that is going to be the end of an eventful over. An eventful over that sees 14 runs coming from it. You need many more of those. Last three coming up, 96 for 5. 97 for 5. Wow, so a bit of a flurry of activity, Manala Patel. And after all of that flurry, we are down to the last 3 overs, 96 runs on the board. How far can you get? Can you push yourself? A run a ball gets you to 114. Can you aim at 120?
I think the bigger question is, what sort of batting ability is there in the Raptors lineup when they come out with a bat in the second innings? Because that might dictate how many runs we actually need to see on the cards in this first innings. The conditions have been very consistent. We've seen a little bit of turn off the surface. That might play a bit of a role in it as well. Shape early on, haven't seen much of it since then.
Run out opportunity. I will tell you this. This partnership, easily the biggest in the innings so far, is the difference between absolute embarrassment for the Washington Waves and probably putting something on the board that their bowlers might think they have a shot to try to defend. Partnership after that single is now worth 57. So that 57-run partnership easily, again, not just the biggest of the innings, but essentially has gotten more than half of the runs that have been scored by the Washington Waves. Hammered and two put down. I'll tell you what, that was off the middle of the bat, and that is a drop, but it was hammered so hard. Manala Patel, I know you as a very firm coach. What would you tell your player after that drop?
Which player, the batter or the fielder?
The fielder.
Well, listen, this is, it happens in cricket, unfortunately. Really good shot. Love that she's moved into the leg side to create that room to be able to play it through the offside. Really well played. That should have been taken in my books. Got to get in a better position. Just not balanced at the time that that ball came to her, Divya 69. It's partly because of the fact that it was hit as hard as it was.
Yes.
Rushed. Wasn't able to get into the right position, and in the end, that you can in that first innings and carry that momentum into the second innings.
Another scoop shot straight back over the keeper for 4 more.
Excellent. Absolutely excellent this. It is Sanvi again that manages 2 scoops in a row now. It just goes to show how well she watches this ball all the way onto the bat, and she's quite balanced as well when she gets down on that one knee. As I hear Cami Desai fielding not too far away from us, saying that is her only shot. Well, might I add to that, Cami Desai, the only shot seems to have gone for 2 boundaries now.
Yes.
In the 2 times that she's played it.
Over extra cover and to the far left of the field, sprinting across from mid-off. It goes for 4 more. This is turning into another big over. And in fact, that is the last shot to end over number 18. 11 runs come from that over. 108 for 5, Manali.
Right, interesting move as we see a sub or a retired out, I should say. I was and the partnership that's starting to form between walk out to the middle and start striking the ball from ball number 1 because it is the 19th over.
It is the 19th over, but if there is somebody who would be able to do that, it would be Jazara Claxton.
Which then brings up another question, Brian.
Why is she coming in at
Thank you very
number
much.
8? So international to international, West Indian to West Indian, as the 19th over here being bowled by Kiana Joseph. These two would have gone against each other in practice loads and loads of times. You have a very quizzical look on your face, Manala Patel.
I absolutely do, because we know Jazara Claxton can swing a bat. We know that she can bat. I am a little
Extra cover, more runs here. 4 of them.
deserved to be put away. That was a poor delivery, low full toss. And all she needed to do, Sanvi, was come down the track. And I think we need to update Cami Desai on the fact that she might have another shot as well in her repertoire. That is really well played through the offside.
Proper elevated extra cover drive. You need as many of those as you can. We were just saying that they were going to struggle to get to 120. Well, we're at 113 now. And with 9 balls remaining in this innings, Manala Patel, you can probably eye somewhere around 125, 130.
Do you then question whether those 2 catches should have been taken in the offside?
Full toss.
We've also seen a couple of catches being put down in the field. And it is a game of little margins, isn't it?
Little margins. I go back to what you just highlighted. Those 2 balls lofted in the air, stayed in the air for a week and a half, and landed out of trouble. This is down the leg side, and they'll get a run here at least. Let's see what the umpire signals. It's actually off the glove, so just a run off the bat. But yes, it is a game of very fine margins. And a drop here or a wicket taken there can make the biggest difference as you get close to the end of the innings here. Single down to long on. So that is 8 runs that have come from over number 19. The last 6 coming up, meaning the last 6 balls, last over. 116 for 5.
Right, into the final over. 116 for 6. We've seen the 1 retired batter, Yashdati Teki. Interesting time to retire her as well, because it does bring out the experience of Jazara Claxton, who's actually been at the non-strikers for quite a bit now.
Well, the last over to be bowled by Lekha Shetty. Lekha Shetty has only bowled 2 overs so far. Make that 3 overs. 1 for 23 are her figures. And they're in full defensive mode here.
Just the one side in deep mid.
Almost a return catch, but they'll start with a single that puts Kiana Joe, make that Jazara Claxton back on strike. Do you expect fireworks here, Manali?
I think her team do.
It doesn't matter what you expect.
That's
it's
right.
what her team expects.
It's what she's been sent out to do.
Uh-huh.
She has 4-5 deliveries on hand. They're expecting 5-6s here.
5-6s would be amazing. Let's see if she can pull it off. Around the wicket to the left-hander. Oh, that was a bit of a check drive. Ritu Singh has a very strong throwing arm, so they won't take her on. This, to me, feels like almost an in-between sort of, if you elevate, the ball is there for the shot. Get that over on. This approach.
Just game number 1. T20 exhibition.
Ritu Singh in action again. Gives it the long boundary. This is good bowling. Halfway through the final over, just 3 singles conceded. And so maybe my 125, 130 doesn't come into fruition. You're only at 119 here.
Well, as I was saying, game 1, double round robin, plenty of action to come. I suspect as this tournament progresses, we're going to see a lot more free play that we're used to. It does come down to being able to read the conditions. It does come down to being able to find your comfort zone out there in your rhythm.
Looks to paddle it around the corner. Bit of a fumble, not cleanly picked up by Nika Colin, so they'll get what is another single. So 4 singles. Shetty credit. This is Shetty credit. This is good bowling. In terms of the results, that last ball from around the wicket you feel could have been put away on the leg side.
Absolutely. And those are those margins that we're talking about.
There's a scoop shot. Doesn't quite pull it off this time though. And it just ends up being yet another single. So once again, those margins that we talk about, you're at 121. You only have 1 ball remaining in the innings.
Looks to go again. Just doesn't get the connection on the toe end of the bat this time. There's also lack of pace from the bowler, which doesn't really allow her to get that pace off the bat then.
Last ball of the innings. They'll run for anything here, but that in full context, this is a great over. In over number 20. You accept that 100 times out of 100, but on the other side of the equation, the Washington Waves end up with 122. Disappointing for you, Manali?
You know, they've recovered well, considering they were 5 down at a point with not too many runs on the card, and the fact that they've gotten it over the 120 mark, there might just be a bit of psychological pressure there on the opposition. I think that might make a bit of a difference. It was a tough show with the bat though. It looks like a very sorry scorecard when you look at all the batters that have gotten out in single digits. Amarpal Kaur and Doshi just weren't able to get the start today that they would have liked to give the Seattle Orcas. A handy 30 off 36 from Chopra. Unfortunately, it's a strike rate though that continues to be a talking point. Vaghela, she's got the experience, unlucky today to be gone for 9. A very good 20 off 30, retired out though, Techie. She might have actually been able to hit a few lusty blows towards the end, so that retirement at the time that it came, a little bit questionable for me. The skipper Kodali, unlucky, just the 3 runs today, but really, really good from Sanvi Sood at the end. 25 off 16, she brought out the scoops. She brought out a couple of shots down the ground as well, and she kept that scoreboard ticking at a time where they really needed to get in a somewhat decent position. Jazara Claxton, a lot of questions. Not sure why she's come as low as she has, but in the end they managed 122 for 6 in their 20 overs.
The bowlers I thought were decent enough, and then certainly at the beginning and at the end, I think you've seen some effort there. Jessica Willith Kamoa bowled well, left arm fast bowler. Absolutely love seeing that. 3 overs, none for 19. 1 wicket each for Lekha Shetty, Ritu Singh, and Kiana Joseph, who economically, for me, was among the best of the bowlers. And then 2 wickets from Achini Pereira, but she'll want to be less expensive than that 7.3 run rate. So at the end of all of it, 123 is what the Redmond Raptors will need to take things home. We will have a short break here in the commentary area. And when we take that break, after the break, in fact, let's take a look at the numbers there. Sanvi Sood 55 from 52. And exactly what we're looking at here is going to be a little bit curious, but let's just say this. 123 is what the Redmond Raptors will need to overhaul in order to take victory in this first match of the Seattle Orcas Women's T20 exhibition right here at the Fairfield County Park in Monroe, Washington. We will take a break along with the players, and we will see you shortly.
She was called out twice because 2 people came with the judge.
Oh.
Hello there. Now we welcome Jane R.S., who is a Bellevue School Board
She's
member,
55, okay.
a cricket mom, a
I
very
wish you could-
passionate
yeah.
supporter and a leader around women's sports and cricket as such. Welcome, Jane.
Thank you for having me.
So Jane, Bellevue School Board, a very interesting position that you have. We all know, my kids go to Bellevue School District. We know that Bellevue School Board and Bellevue School District has been in some rough waters over the last few years, but looks like they have stabilized. The ship has stabilized quite a bit now, and it has been done in a record time. So tell us about that.
Yes, do you want me to hold or? Okay. Yes, unfortunately, like many school districts in Washington State, due to lack of state fund for education, we did go into binding condition, which means that we don't have enough funds to run in the way we want to. Typically, when a school district goes into a binding condition, it takes about 3 to 5 years to climb out of it and be on the positive and we have done in a record time about 1 year, which is pretty significant to correct the ship. Not only that, we have continued to improve our program and build and strengthen it. Most school districts are struggling and losing students, we have been able to sustain it, as well as, in fact, I just learned that U.S. News has stated that I believe 5 of our schools are on the top 100. I think one of them is number 2 in the state, but all of our high schools are seen in a very well light.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. One of the small things that you have done, it's not actually small, the impact of that thing has been very big, is that cricket as a sport was never recognized by school district as a sport in which you travel. And because of that, when players, both boys and girls, used to travel for tournaments and used to have more than 5 days off school, they would get penalized for it. But as a board member, you fixed that, and you said if you're traveling for cricket tournaments, that's allowed as a sports travel, and you can do more of that travel. Thanks for doing that on the school board. Now, let's talk about Jivana RS, who's basically a USA national player, USA under-19 player, your daughter. And you and your husband have spent quite a bit of time in terms of, grooming her for cricket, and she's done amazingly well. So that's your second big impact into sports. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, well, I have to say I am, like most parents, a cheerleader on the side, encouraging and supporting our daughter, Jivana, in what she wanted to pursue, and cricket became a thing during COVID. I am thankful that my husband, Yatin, knows the sport and has been coaching her every step of the way. Like most parents, we want our children to be happy. We want them to thrive. And be passionate about something, and became her passion. And so therefore, I want to make sure that her, as well as other girls, also have that opportunity to experience the joy of playing cricket. And obviously that means we have to grow the sport here.
Yeah, well said. We do have to grow the sport here. Now let's talk about girls and sport and the state, right? There's a lot, like education is important, so is sports, which is mixed with the education out in the state. What do you think? How do we promote the sport? How do we promote more girls sports across the state? So, you know, there are more attendance, more funding, and more of everything for women's sport in our state.
It's education is a big part. We need to educate our, whether it is our PE teachers or our community at large, and make sure they have access to the equipment. Unfortunately, it hasn't been embedded into our education system in the same way basketball or football or baseball have been historically, though people don't know that the first international tournament was played in the U.S. many moons ago. Not baseball, but cricket. I think it is you kids and parents. Number one way to get cricket become part of the foundation of education is for parents and students to advocate for it. It is them who wants it, them who wants access to it, and which encourages teachers to learn more about it and learn how to teach it and create that space and equipment for the kids to have access to. And so, as much as I would love to, it takes the whole village to push things like this together, and especially when students are vocal about it, it becomes more fruitful.
Perfect. Advocacy, education, and community support. 3 great things that we can do to grow more of the women's sports and women's cricket in the state. Thank you, Jane.
Thanks.
coming, right?
Welcome back to the action. It is time for the chase. 123 needed from 120 balls for the Redmond Raptors. A difficult first innings with the bat, especially for the Waves. And they'll want to try and change things around pretty quickly here. And wickets will be the name of the game. Ball number one, and that is very unlucky for Githika Kodali because this is just squeezed through for a boundary. Great way to start with the bat. But you've got to feel for the bowler because this wasn't a poor delivery.
Fortuitous, but something that they would embrace with both arms. They're chasing a tiny total, but it's a total on the board nevertheless. But a 4 on the first ball is mighty welcome for them.
Driven down the ground this time. It is the experience of Kiana Joseph out in the middle, taking on Githika Kodali. And skipper at the other end, Anika Kalanchi, will now come on strike with that single taken. It is the Seattle Orcas Women's T20 Exhibition, game number 1 here in Monroe, Washington. It's been a beautiful day for cricket so far. There is one more game today, so plenty of action. But at the moment, it is the Raptors taking on the Waves. And a quick reminder for those of you who missed the toss in that first innings, it was the Raptors who won the toss. They chose to have a ball first.
And they clearly had a good plan to it. I guess both the coaches being from the Pacific Northwest, Rishi and Prajit, they both played for local Seattle teams in multiple capacities, know the condition, and clearly was evident that Rishi and his team were well prepared to exploit the conditions when they were bowling.
It's very well bowled. A very good line and a testing length as well. Githika Kodali has had her fair share of leadership, and she is now bowling to not only the captain of the Raptors, but also the captain of the USA women's side, the senior women's side, in Anika Kalan. Highest T20I score of 54 not out. Good change of pace.
Yeah.
Excellent delivery that.
Anika Kolan is an instrumental mind behind this tournament. She is an ambassador for Seattle Orcas, has been an advocate for having a tournament of this kind, and it's great to see the role that she's played in having the franchise shape a tournament of this this size. I mean, it's just wonderful to see. The Waves lost 3 wickets for 29 in their power play.
Floated up, just driven to extra cover. It will be a dot to end the over. 2 overs gone, 20 for none. Kitaka Kadali back with the ball. Skipper, 25 wickets to her name in T20I internationals. A best of 3 for 25. She's bowled so well so far. She's right on the mark, and that pressure is going to bring on an outrageous wicket. Both batters at the same end. This is not the way you want to lose a wicket, not after the over that you've just had. Total confusion out in the middle, and it is the dangerous Kiana Joseph that's going to walk back. Massive moment this. They needed wickets, and they've picked one up in some fashion here, the Waves.
Absolutely, that was a brain fade and a half, because there was a poor calling, I would say, from both sides. Kiana kept on running, and Anika did not respond. She was kind of caught watching the ball a bit. Unfortunately, this is not the wicket they would have wanted to lose. They wouldn't have wanted to lose any of those 2 wickets, but the way Kiana was shaping up, that's a wicket that they would not have wanted to lose at this point.
Yeah,
15.
Gone for 15 off 8, just pushed into the offside. I'm not so sure this would have been a single. And the reason why I say that is you've got to be very wary of who you're batting with. I don't think Kiana Joseph's the quickest between the wickets. And she did decide to make the track to the wrong end, unfortunately. Well played. Very, very well played. Leans into the shot beautifully, and that's going to run away for 4 runs.
And Anika is that kind of a player. She's the kind of player who would depend on more about finding the gaps, stroking cricketing shots. She's still probably getting a mind into the game when that little period of complete confusion happened. Anyways.
Leg side. In the air and in the gap as well. Doesn't have the best of timing this time, but she will still pick up 2 runs. She's a very good cricketer, Anika Kalan. Highest T20I score of 54. And it's cricketing shots like that that make her stand out. All around the ground she can play. Really good 360 player. In fact, she just turned 20 a couple of days ago. For some reason, that doesn't add up in my brain. I still picture her as an under 19 player, you know. And I don't mean because she's turned 20. I mean, I'm thinking like 15, 16 years of age.
Yes, and the way she handled her resources today, the first innings, spoke volumes about she was calling the shots with certain definitive air to her decision making. And
Very well bowled. Deceiving. Takes the pace off. It's a very full delivery. Very careful on that occasion. This is the run out right here. Anika Kalan looked like she wanted to take off, and she did. And then she changed her mind as soon as it went straight to the fielder. Now, they haven't batted together before, these two, or Kiana Joseph and Anika Kalan. And so that communication aspect is obviously still a work in progress. The disappointing part for me, as we round this over off, 3 overs gone, 27 for 1. The disappointing part for me is seeing Kiana Joseph respond and then not react to the fact that she shouldn't be continuing that run, still try and turn around.
It was clearly a clash of the players' preferences. As you rightly mentioned, the coordination between the two players, that will probably come with a couple of games, but at this level, when you're bringing together teams, you spend the run up to these kind of competitions purely building those kind of coordination. They would have exchanged what works for each other. Unfortunately, that costed them a wicket when they would not have wanted it.
Amarpal Kaur, the Canadian international, in with the ball. She's got a best of 4 for 1. 29 wickets at 10.17. It's the best average of any player in this tournament by quite some distance. Played a lot of her formative cricket, a lot of her high performance that she's bowling as well, isn't it? I mean, this is unlucky that she's been able to get some bat on this. 2 runs will come off of the bat. The fact that she's keeping it outside the swinging arc of the 2 batters is promising. What I would like to see from her, and I know it's a new ball still, but to be able to generate a bit of turn off the surface, because we've seen it in the first innings.
It was quite prominent turn. You're absolutely right, and I think the bowlers were going after the flight so they could get a sense of tweak after pitching, and that is a good opportunity for Amarpal to.
It is a Canadian contest though at the moment. Cami Desai, Amarpal Kaur. They haven't played a lot of cricket with each other because Canada, just like the US being as vast as it is, Amarpal Kaur comes from Alberta, which is central, and Cami Desai is based in Ontario, which is quite far east. Boulder right through the gate. It's a terrible choice of a shot from Cami Desai. She holds her line this time. And that off stump has been rattled. That's going to be the second wicket down, and they're well and truly on top of this with the ball, the Waves.
She has 29 international wickets at a 10.17 average. That speaks a lot, and she definitely knows how to pick up wickets, and that particular dismissal showed it. That's a ball that after pitching took some pace, clearly beat the batter, kept a bit low, and a cross-batted shot was probably not the most wisest of a choice. Ends up losing that wicket, Cami Desai.
3.4 overs gone. It's 30 for 2. It's the length. And it's the fact that the ball skidded on and stayed a little bit low. She just ended up cramping herself for room. Unsure whether to be on that front foot or the back foot. And that's where that length is so tricky, because she's not bowling it full enough for you to be able to go onto the front foot, or short enough to be able to jump onto that back foot. Just back of a good length. Makes it very difficult for batters, especially on a surface where the ball is skidding through a little bit.
She looks to be in total control of her craft there. And against run-off play, though the run rate is currently upwards of 8, the Raptors have lost 2 wickets, and Waves would find themselves interested in this game. After 4, it's 30 for 2.
This long way to go still in the innings.
Yeah.
Just about to wrap up the 5th over, so there's plenty of time to come. Does sometimes come down to partnerships and making sure that you bat it out in phases. Down the track this time, uses her feet, and it just lands short of the fielder. Gonna get away with that.
Catches. Monali, you stressed upon this in the first innings as well. Couple of catches which should have been attempted for. This one too was in that difficult zone, but one would always wonder, was that a little bit of an opportunity for you to go for a dive?
Thick outside edge. The spin's going to help as well, and it's going to roll away for 4 runs. Unlucky for the bowler. It was a very good over. Just dented with that boundary. 5 overs gone. It's 37 for 2. Didn't have a lot of width on that. But it's the hard flash that manages to get the outside edge and pick up a boundary off the last delivery of the previous over.
Right, Amarpal, to continue. Runs sort of coming in singles at this point, with both the bowlers testing the patience and application of the two batters here.
Runs certainly coming in singles, but at this the last 88 balls remaining, and you only have 84 runs, so you can hit a single off of every ball the rest of the way and win this game. And very frankly, a couple of wides here and there will help. So the pressure is on the bowling unit. The Washington Waves are going to have to find a way to prize out a couple of wickets, and they'd want certainly to do that sooner rather than later.
85 needed, 84 needed of about 86, 87 balls now. So you are absolutely right. They have the score and the target and the momentum that they need in their side, in front of them. They can plan their innings around it. They don't need to commit anything out of the ordinary. Once again, it's the batters are trying, both these batters are trying to keep it as little a risk as possible at this point. They're not taking undue risk. Still early days, but both of them got some runs already to get themselves a good start here. That's played up in the air, and a chance there in the mid-wicket fence. For a brief second, the fielder out there probably lost the sight of the ball. A moment of indecision, should I go for the catch or should I go for the saving that boundary? And in the end, neither of those things happen. It's boundary consumed by the Waves.
Yeah, off the bat, I thought Adi Rawat had a chance for that, but she got close enough to it, but just didn't go for the catch, as you mentioned, and gave up the 4 to boot.
Hanika is clearly holding the cards here. She knows exactly where she wants to take the ship to, at what rate, and it's 6 overs done. The power play, at the end of power play, it's 47 for 2. So at the end of the power play there, 47 for 2. They will be very happy with the rate they're going, although the frenetic pace at which Kiana was going in the beginning, that might have slowed down, but nothing's bothering them at this point. They're going at a pretty sedate pace.
Well, they're going at a sedate pace now, but look at the comparison between the two power plays. When the Washington Waves batted, their power play ended with them being 29 for 3. You're way ahead in terms of the number of runs scored, 47 as compared to 29, and then you've lost one fewer wicket. So I think it's fair to say that the Redmond Raptors, it's their game to lose at this point.
Okay, well, we're back here at the Media Centre at Fairfield County Park in Munro, and joining me in the centre is a local Seattle cricket player. What a catch!
And there's a wicket there. And most importantly, they've lost their captain, Anika, out there.
Probably do a better job.
We were just talking about how coolly the Raptors were going up their chase, and against the run of play, two dot balls from Taranum led to something slightly more adventurous from Anika and resulted in a wicket. So Taranum's first wicket, as we take a look at this, it was a shot that was tried and an incredibly well-judged catch on the long on fence.
That is excellent. That is Sanvi Sood with the catch, and it was judged to perfection.
Maybe
She jumped at the exact
what do you think of
moment that she needed
women's
to jump
games?
to be able to corral that one. You mistime that, it goes over your head, it goes for 6. So that's a really good piece of fielding, and the captain has been dismissed.
Divya is the next batter, and that will.
So it appears as though we'll have a media interview continuing. We'll go silent here and listen to the media conversation.
Okay, so we're back here at the Media Centre, and with me is local Seattle cricket player Rayan Taj. He's also a national under-19 USA cricket player. Rayan, welcome. And what do you make it so far of the women's tournament?
Thank you. Yeah, I think this is a really great initiative here by the Orcas. It's a really nice, well-organized tournament, and it's good to see like all the top talent of women's cricket in America coming together playing this tournament here. So yeah, it's great.
Thanks, Ryan. Now, you've represented your country, the USA, at under-19 level. Which countries other than the USA have you played cricket?
I've played in India, Australia, England, and what else? Jamaica, Barbados, and Guyana.
Well, that's amazing. A great opportunity for you to play and represent your country at so many different countries and at so many different levels and experiences. Tell me how you became a cricketer and what it's been like to develop as a cricketer here in Seattle.
So I've been playing cricket maybe for 10 years now. It all started here in Seattle, just local tournaments, and then that made its way into like tournaments, national tournaments, traveling to different places like Dallas, Houston, California, Atlanta, and from there it came like once you reach like the under 15 stage is when you play these USA sanctioned tournaments, and from there it kind of led itself into like the under 19 stuff, minor league, and just other men's tournaments and stuff. Yeah.
Sure. Now, you spent the season with the Major League Cricket Seattle Orcas team this year. How was that experience for you?
It was a great experience learning from some of the best in the world, whether it be the coaches, the players, practicing with them every day. It's an amazing opportunity to just learn and grow my game, so it was great.
Yeah, it was great having you, and thank you very much for being part of the setup. Just one last question. You've developed your cricket game here in Seattle on the local facilities. How can we help improve you and the future generations of cricketers here in Seattle by way of facilities?
Yeah, I think if the facilities were better in Seattle, it would help a lot to grow cricket here. This is one of the only tournaments we've ever had at such a organized good level of tournament. So having better facilities to train in and to play games in, it would help a lot.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, here we are really pushing forward to try and find a great facility to play international cricket and provide a pathway for our domestic cricketers here in Seattle. So, Ryan, thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the tournament, and no doubt we'll see you around soon.
Well, back here and take a look at Ritu Singh. I believe Sheil Majumdar that she's the best six hitter in the country, and that shot proves it.
By a mile. She has some, by a mile, absolutely, Brian, and she has some experience of playing some incredibly frenetic knocks, and that proves that was a shot of authority. Oof. That was in the slot too. That was in slot 2, but no damage done. 8 was done, 59 for 3. Oh dear.
$59 for 3. You're ahead of the game. At the equivalent stage in their innings, the Washington Waves were 41 for 4. So there is a fair distance there.
I could see that how much momentum they lost initially, though they tried to make it up towards the end. But when you lose out so much of gas in the beginning, it's very difficult to come back. And from that standpoint, I guess the Raptors have the momentum going very well. This time again, both these platters have a lot of experience, especially Divya. Divya has been an international player for a while, and 12 T20s. Once again, a wicket falling there against a run of things. They have some runs going under the belt. Every time that you feel they've got a momentum, they lost a wicket. That will keep is the wicket that they've got.
To a ball that's shorter. At that length, you want to be playing that in the V. So she'll be disappointed.
Stressed on this point of no need to play a shot, although there's a lot of runs in the front. This is a third over. She's still in single digit as far as runs are given. 9, and she's picked up 2 scalps. And that combined with her batting effort of 48, it's a no-brainer who's having an absolute stunner of a game so far. Slightly short of length. She's mixing it up. Achini, who's the new batter here, is cautiously going. Would say that's a chance gone a begging, a chance that should have been taken 10 out of 10 times.
You mentioned 10 out of 10 times that catch dropped by number 10, Adia Rawat. She's dropped a couple today, and she'll be disappointed in that. How different a game is this if you take that catch?
Absolutely. That would have just put the brakes on, considering the fact that they have just picked up a wicket. And Adia, I just wonder how much the previous over was working on her mind, because she gave a 6 in the previous over, costed her 11 runs. Confidence was not the highest. Look at that. That was a straightforward catch. 9 overs done, 61 for 4 now. That catch would have certainly put the cat amongst the pigeons there. That's a flighted ball, heaved in the mid-wicket fence, cow corner as we call it, and the fielder on the boundary in the fence. Again, misjudging. That's 2 back-to-back misjudges, a catch gone a begging, and a boundary. And this time, this was a ball. This was a shot played against Adia, who just dropped a catch. She's not having the best last 10 minutes or so.
She's not, and she'll be disappointed with that effort. I'll tell you what, that psychological impact of dropping catches, and dropping catches that has now the deficit below, you're more than halfway there. Only 58 runs needed from the next 64 balls. So you need something to happen as a bowling unit. And the fact that you've dropped a couple of catches certainly pulls the entire momentum backward. It drops the shoulders of the fielders in the field, and so all in all, it just sort of has an additive effect of pulling you back toward away from where you want to be.
That's called wide. She is obviously trying to master the craft of leg spin. It's one of the most difficult arts as a bowler, and that's up in the air once again, but well short of the fielder in mid-wicket as they come charging. Adia Rawat, she's giving the ball a lot of air, clearly trying to get some turn as a wrist spinner. This time bowled with a lesser flight there, clearly was able to control her length, at the same time contain the batter there. 6.71 is the current run rate. That's wonderfully bowled, and a wicket that will do Adia Rawat a world of good for the miserable last 10 or 12 minutes that she's had. That's the wicket that could turn her confidence completely upside down.
Beautifully flighted delivery. The line was outside the line of off stump. You say that she's a leg spinner, so that ball is turning away from the right-handed batter, Achini Pereira, and she misses it. Goes forward, lunges forward, does not make contact, and could not drop back. Look at this, comes charging down the track, but the turn, not and swift piece of stumping, really well done by Aparna Gurumurthy behind the stumps, And China Pereira will not want to see that replay because she got herself in a bit of a tangle and loses her wicket. So the players will take the 10 over break. Last 10 overs coming up, 57 runs needed. Redmond Raptors, I think, still just in the driver's seat, but just only by a small margin. We'll be right back. Well, Manali Patel, you're interestingly poised here. 66 for 5 after 10, the Redmond Raptors. But in the last 5 overs, the Redmond Raptors have lost 3 wickets for 29 runs. So they're scoring at less than a run a ball, and they need another 57. They need to be scoring at the rate of 5.7, which in theory should be pretty straightforward. But those 3 wickets that they've lost in the last 5 will be a concern.
Yeah, it would be a bit of a concern in the sense that they need to try and stabilize the ship, and I think they can. The fact that they've got the likes of Divya Sixen out there makes a very big difference. She's a very handy bat, and she's got the ability to accelerate very quickly. She has the ability to hit the big shots, and I think if it comes down to that, where they do need to put a little bit of pressure on that required run rate, she can turn things around. It will, though, come down to partnerships for me. Because yes, it's a small total, but sometimes we see those small totals end up being so tricky because you take it a little bit lightly, then you lose a few wickets, and then you're behind that 8 ball and you want to try and play catch up.
What happened here? Gone first ball of over number 11. Talking about partnerships, Manali Patel, you just lost a big one here. 66 for 6, devil's number.
I don't want to say that there was a bit of commentator's curse on that, because I did say Divya Saxena being out there was going to be key. But this is an interesting shot for me. We've just had the drinks break, and we so often that we will see there's a break in play and the concentration isn't quite there. It's not the quickest of deliveries. Her feet have gone absolutely nowhere, and she's just thrown her bat at a delivery that had almost no pace on it. That's going to be a big one. And now they're in a bit of trouble. 66 for 6 after 10.1.
I did say devil's number. That 666 number is what I'm referring to.
I know, I got it.
Because there's literally no response on your face. So it just made me think that you didn't get it.
No,
But
I definitely got the devil's number part.
But talking about partnerships, look at this. The first wicket partnership was very quick. 20 runs scored in a really quick time, but then that dismissal of Kiana Joseph was troublesome. The partnerships after that were 10, 17, 13, and then 6 and 0. So you're in a situation where you've lost a ton of wickets. The big one to start over number 11 is the captain, Gitika Kodale, and almost lost another one there. Very tentative shot, just pushing this one in the air. Lassia Bandaro not quite getting control over that one.
She's not the shortest of characters, is she, Geethika Kodali? She has a bit of height to her, and that often means that she can generate extra bounce off the surface. Just needs to be able to bend her back into it, and that delivery is a pretty good indicator of that.
As well played. It's going to get through the infield and actually race across the boundary for 4. That is a really, really good shot. High-class shot from Lasya Bandaru.
Needed it. Needed it desperately. It's not just about the wickets, it's also about keeping that scoreboard ticking, and that's going to help.
This is just elegant batting. No trouble there on the run out, but when I say elegant batting, I mean just playing to the situation. You don't need to try to overhit the ball, timing it into the gaps. That's what you want to see here from Lasya Bandaru.
Pierce the gap really well. The one before, not quite as lucky this time around. It's always lovely to see batters who do have a good offside game. In the women's game, that's a little bit different. Very, especially for the associate cricketers, they're very leg side heavy. In that associate level who can play to the offside, you can tell that there is a lot of talent, there's a lot of ability there. This is where the likes of Anika Kalan, they stand out because she is a 360 player. That's well bowled. Again, using the angle across the left-hander.
This is really good stuff. Good bowling. You like the fact that the captain has brought herself back in. And seeing Jessica Willett-Gamua, who grew up playing cricket in Sydney in Australia. So she's been in situations like this before. This feels to me like strength versus strength.
Rounding off the 11th, it's 71 for 6.
Okay, last 9 overs coming up. 52 runs needed. The equation is getting more and more tricky here, Manali. 71 for 6, and it is going to be Adirawat to continue. She's bowled well. And again, she's had some difficulties in the field, but she's bowling really, really well at the moment.
She's bowled well. Her side have continued to pile on the dot balls that we were speaking about in the first innings, and that has attributed to the pressure that we're seeing. Low full toss, unable to put it away this time. Down the ground for a single.
You mentioned dot balls. 56% of the deliveries in this innings have been dots.
And that's a pretty good discussion point as well, isn't it? We talk about dot ball percentage and we talk about the correlation between women's cricket, especially associate cricket, and that factor right there. And that's where those full members really separate themselves from the associates. The dot ball percentage is a lot smaller.
So this is an interesting matchup for me. Leg spinner, so turning the ball into the left-handed Jessica Willett-Gamua. But the wind has picked up coming from the east. As you look on your screen, it's blowing right to left, which means that a big hit on the leg side could travel the distance. Oh, cheeky. Paddles it around the corner. She'll probably get 2 here. But
nice and low as well, and most importantly keeps that head still as her arms are nice and in front of her. She's playing to the field, and that's good to see.
Similar shots, and I suspect it will be the same results. fact, just jogging that second run. So that's a good way to keep the scoreboard ticking.
Now that shot disappoints me.
So that one you needed more oomph.
Absolutely. It's a full toss on leg. That should have been smashed away for 6 on the leg side.
And again, if she attempts to smash it on the leg side, it will be hitting with the wind. So you may have, not me, you do have a very good point there.
I always do, bro.
You know what, I completely forgot who I was working with. Quicker. So she's tired of flighting the ball to Jessica Wolotukamoa. It'll be interesting to see what this last ball is. In fact, that was the last ball. So a good over overall, just 5 runs coming from it. So we will go silent here shortly because we have yet another media interview. We'll go to the media center once again with Jaga Namani.
Welcome back to the Media Center at Seattle Orcas Women's T20 exhibition matches. Right now I have here with me one of the cricket, avid cricket players. He still plays cricket on one of our Boundary Builders Club Goosehoppers. And he has a son who plays cricket very well and has a daughter who's been playing very well. And one of the exciting things, Hari Ganesh, that
Absolutely. Thanks, Jagan, and thanks to Seattle Orcas for creating such a wonderful platform for women cricketers over here in the Northwest. The first of its kind, and this level of quality, something that women cricket has not seen thus far across the USA. So was a good platform for junior women that are coming up in the sport. We see a lot of great cricketers who are playing up here, but the age group between 13 to 17, we did not see enough long format competition for kids to establish their foundation right and for them to start building their their ability to build the stamina that's required to play this game, right? So and I've been brainstorming this with quite a number of cricket enthusiasts across the US, and that's where this idea came up, where why don't we actually look at hosting a tournament between 13 to 17. This tournament is called American Junior Women's Cricket League. The first of its kind is going to happen on 29th October to the 1st of November in Houston. So a lot of volunteers, including Mangesh from PVCC, have been helpful in providing the facilities and setting up this infrastructure. So the idea is to host it twice a year and have a point-based system so that they can play with each other.
Perfect. That is exciting. It's good to see a growth of women's cricket so much. Thank you, Hari, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yet another wonderful interview from the media center. Back to the action in the middle, as this over has resulted in 4 singles from the first 4 balls bowled by Yashaditi Teki. The equation, 43 needed from 44 balls, so you're right around a run a ball with 6 wickets in hand. Monali Patel, where is your, maybe not your rooting interest, but where do you think this game goes?
I don't want to predict and be wrong. 'Cause it's not something I enjoy.
Sure.
But I will say that this is going to turn out to be a very interesting contest because we are getting into the business end of this innings. Especially once we cross over that 15 over mark, you want to make sure that you're not so close to run a ball. And I say that because if you've got wickets in hand, you've got firepower to go up and over. But when you don't have wickets in hand, you're hesitant. We've seen full tosses now played down to the ground for a couple. We've seen very hesitant shot play overall. 13 overs gone, 81 for 6. And that pressure is telling. So once it starts to go over that run a ball equation, you start to see those mistakes and it starts to get a bit dicey.
It is interesting that you highlight that because we are now exactly at the point where you need to run a ball to win. 42 balls remaining, 42 more runs to get. So it's going to come down to, I think, smart batting, intelligent batting. No need to do anything enterprising just yet. but you also don't want to get into a shell and build up any dot balls, because it's at this stage of the innings where a few dot balls will make that required rate accelerate or jump upward.
Wow, it's a lot of synonyms for accelerate. Well done, Brian. So glad you've got it figured out. Down the ground. Not the connection she'd have liked, but it will bring on another single.
Yet another single. So 6 of the last 7 balls have gone, or deliveries have gone for singles.
I love your vocabulary, though, Brian. It is impressive.
Well,
Your parents were teachers,
I was
weren't
about
they?
to say, when you have 2 parents who are school teachers, one of whom was the principal of the school that you went to, that's kind of what happens. Stop me if you've heard this before. Yet another single down the ground. And this is really all they need. At this stage, you don't want to take any chances. Singles alone still, obviously, can still win this game for you.
Is it too early to call for a potential super over in the first game of the Seattle
Wow.
Orcas Women's T20 exhibition?
Wow. This is not going to be a single, I wouldn't think. They come back for the second run. A super over would be interesting, Manali Patel. Now, of course,
A
for
wicket here would definitely bring it very close to super over. Just floating the idea out there.
good diving effort in the infield, but not able to prevent that single. But I'll tell you what, though, you've gotten yourself in a really good position here. This partnership doesn't sound like very much, but it's worth right now 20, and that 20 runs sort of held off or pulled you away from the edge, and it feels just like the singles alone at this stage are pushing you in a much better position.
Ooh.
Extra bounce that time.
Extra bounce, extra bit of pace as well. This one's fired in. I like the change of pace from Adya. Oh, she's been built for singles and doubles so far. Just needed to change things up a bit. There's just a bit of hold on the surface as well on that one. Excellent over this. 14 overs gone, 86 for 6.
Well, we're at the business end of this match. It feels like, Manali. 86 for 6, 37 needed from 36 balls. The last over here to be bowled by Taranum Chopra. She's bowled well, 2 for 10 in the 3 overs that she's bowled. And what happens here? It feels like this is going to be a really pivotal point in this match.
It's been outstanding from Taranum Chopra, though, hasn't it? She's had a really good day out there in the middle. Momentum key. You have a good day with the bat, you'll probably bowl well, and vice versa.
Had a really good day with the bat. This is skied. It's going to land safely, it looks like. Yes, just landing in front of long on. Talking about Taranum Chopra. She had a really good day with the bats. Got a text message from her coach, Jaskaran Malhotra. You've probably heard that name. So let's just say the 6-hitting machine that used to be Jaskaran Malhotra is transferring that skill to his players. And she herself, in addition to scoring heavily with the bat, is doing really good things with the ball here.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, the bigger picture, it also then allows for the U.S., especially from a selections perspective, to have more options, doesn't it? To have some important qualifiers coming up next year. The under-19s have done really well and just qualified for their 3rd consecutive under-19 Women's World Cup. Just opens up more options for selectors. It also then makes your players work harder because they know competition is tough.
How good is she bowling? This is going to be a single. but just one ball remaining in over number 15. She's only conceded 2 runs, and that required rate is up to 6.7. So now you're at the stage where a single every ball does not win you this game, and that puts the pressure on the batting side. Pull into the leg side. Don't get a single there. Oh my God, it's going to be run out. Gone. Oh, absolutely brutal. The pressure was there, as we just mentioned, and it is the run out of Jessica Willis-Gamoa, backing up too far and not able to get back to safety. 88 for 7.
And this is why I'd said that when you are a runnable and you don't have wickets in hand, you're forced into decisions like this. You're forced into situations where you're going to do something rash, and oftentimes you'll be stranded, and that's exactly what's happened with Jessica Willis-Gamoa. Down the track, looking to see if she might pick up a single. She's ball watching as well, and the communication not great between the two batters. Great reaction from the bowler, well aware of where the stumps are as well as she whips the bails off. Trouble this. Should have never come down to this moment right here, especially after that first innings and how well they dominated with the ball, the Raptors. And they find themselves 88 for 7 after 15. Change in the gong box. Shield comes back.
Thank you, Manali. Thank you, Brian. And it's we didn't think it would be in this situation in the last 5. The Raptors have got themselves in a great position, picking up wickets consistently, not letting the Waves get away with the game. And new batter at the crease, Ankita. Lassia is going at a runner ball. It's a very interesting stage of the game, Manali.
Dicey, isn't it? You can feel the pressure on both teams because each team is on a knife's edge. A couple of boundaries changes the equation completely. Another wicket changes the equation completely. So there's a lot to play for here for both of these sides. Of course, there is more cricket to come. But the thing is, you want to start a tournament off on a high because that high then carries you on for the rest of the tournament. Less pressure. Out of her crease, the question's been asked, and the umpire says not out this time. Really well bowled. She's drawing the batter forward, drawing her out of her crease. Got to be very watchful here, Ankita.
Yashaditi again. She, along with Taranum, had a long stint at the crease as batting while they were batting, and although she kind of was not as explosive as Taranum, but she arrested the fall of wickets, doing exceptionally good so far as a bowler.
Scampered across for single. The chatter has just gone up 2 notches here from the Waves.
The question now is, from the batting that is left in the tank, do they have the arsenal to go out there and make a difference? Do they play those big shots when it's needed? Take charge with responsibility, because this is a kind of situation that needs both application and calculation.
Lot of flight down the ground and lands in no man's land. They only manage a single again. 4 deliveries, just 2 runs coming off of it. That required run rate now continuing to climb.
Every ball that doesn't get a big shot is adding more and more pressure on the batting unit here.
Lack of pace doing it at the moment for the Waves. It's made it very difficult to bat without that pace onto the bat.
I love the way Geetika has been in charge here. She's given confidence to the younger bowlers.
It will be a single to end the over. 16 over. 91 for 7.
like that elusive boundary coming there, but the outfield there was not so liberal. It was restricted to 2.
Not quite ready with that, Geetika Kodali. She's going to have to get back to her mark again. But you did mention, Sheil, she's led really well from the top. She's trusted her juniors.
Yes.
But a big part of that is also the fact that her juniors come with a lot of weight. They come with experience despite their age. And they've come with the consistency that allows for a captain to be able to trust them with the ball.
I loved what she did with Adya today. The first over went for 11. A catch dropped after that. Her confidence would have been absolutely the lowest. Many captains would have pulled the bowler out at that point. She gave her back. She ensured that she bowled a 4 in a trot. And she paid back with wickets and also with some great line and length. In fact, the momentum of the game changed in that part when she gave that confidence. And Adya's comeback was instrumental in the way Waves got their grip back on this game. That should have been a wide.
Not sure if he might have just brushed the pad on the way through to the keeper.
Sure, there was something there.
Excellent. This has been a very good over so far. 3 dot balls in a row. Of them is through the offside, similar to that last delivery.
You get the feeling something's got to give here.
It absolutely has to. They've got to try and find a boundary. This required rate is continuing to climb. Good length. A little bit of shape. Just taking it away from the right-hander, off the seam, off the surface.
That looks like a proper calculated plan from Geetika. Just tantalizingly welcoming the batter to take chances outside the off stump. She's packed the offside close in field with fielders, 3 fielders after the end of 17, 93 for 7.
Just the 2 runs coming off that Geetika Kodali over, and that is excellent bowling in the death. 3 overs left in the contest. They need to get to 123, and you just feel this game is slipping away from the Redmond Raptors at the moment. They don't have the firepower in this batting lineup down the ground.
Asking rate in double digits now, 30 from 3 overs. Again, the same question that I asked a week over or 2 back. Do they have the firepower to play the big shot? So far, that answer has been in the negative. Both the batters seem to be occupying the crease, but lacking either the confidence or the craft to go with the big ones. But you never say never. Two overs for 13 runs for Amarpal as she comes back. She had picked up a wicket. We spoke a lot about her wicket-taking abilities. Great average that she possesses while playing this format of the game. And probably the right time, the captain holding back 2 of her overs of the 3 that is left right now.
Into the leg side, and very well done in the deep. For a moment it looked like it might just bisect the 2 fielders, but this is excellent work in the deep. Good shot as well. Got the connection, just wasn't able to quite beat the 2 fielders. Excellent. Great pressure from Amarpal Kaur. It doesn't matter where they're able to play the ball at the moment. They just can't seem to pierce the gaps. Leg side, offside, continuing to add on to that pressure.
The field placement has been just spot on so far, and they have certainly taken their ground fielding up a level. The bowlers are bowling to a plan, and the fielders are backing that up. It's been a while so far, the last boundary that we have seen, and with every passing delivery here, the oxygen has been sucked out of this innings.
Again, can't get it past the fielder. Looking back, the Raptors, they will question how many runs they leaked from the drop catches, from the unattempted catches. Excellent. Down on one knee, ramped over, and will this bring on the boundary? It absolutely will. You just feel like it's come a little too late for them, though. 18 overs gone.
100. And they finally get that to 100. This was so much needed. And like you said, it's a bit late as it seems and as it appears, but anything can happen from here. 2 overs to go, 23 to get. It's breaking that stranglehold, breaking that jinx, so that one boundary can open the floodgates for them. But it's all a game of mindset from here on, Monali, isn't it?
Well, when you need to be going at about 12 runs and over in your last 2 overs and you're 7 wickets down, that equation doesn't look too good for you. Especially when you've got the likes of spinner upon spinner taking the pace off the ball. They haven't relied too much on the turn. We didn't see a lot of turn after we did in that first innings, but it really is the lack of pace in bowling in the right areas. Bit of flight, heaved into the leg side, and really well done in the deep. It won't find the rope.
The fielding continues to be impressive. They have saved boundaries. The boundary riders have put in that extra level of stretch and effort to ensure that they don't give away those extra runs. More so mentally. When you get a boundary, it gives you that flip. They're making them stretch.
Tossed up again. No timing on this. It'll just be the single. You've got to commend the fielding effort by the Waves. They have been exceptional in the field. Not afraid to put their body behind it. And to the captain as well for making sure that her fielders are placed as well as they have been. Nothing. Absolutely nothing to work with. No pace on the delivery. Tries to use the crease, just doesn't have the power. Gone.
Oh.
Down the track, looking to get to the pitch of the delivery. And that is going to be wicket number 8. Wheels have come off here. The Raptors are staring down the barrel of what will be the first loss in this Seattle Orcas Women's T20 exhibition. First game of the tournament as well. Ball kept nice and wide of the batter as she came down the track. You got to give credit to the bowler, managing to pull it even further away, not allowing for the batter to get to the pitch of the ball. A bit of hesitation there as well. Just not coming down as far as she should have been able to. Great work behind the stumps.
The fact that the whole team has got so many all-rounders and bowling options, and Geetika to have trusted just 6 bowlers, of which predominantly 5 bowlers, with the young Ira just getting 1 over, which went for a bit of runs. That is a lot of confidence to our frontline bowlers, telling that I'm going to use 5 of you. And they have the clarity and they've gone and delivered it. They've shown a lot of confidence to the younger bowlers, the younger players, and a lot of guile in the way they have gone ahead and bowled and picked up wickets.
Single to end the over. 19 overs gone. It's 105 for 8.
Once we hark back, Manali, and look at those missed chances during the first innings, and you would wonder, was there... I mean, hindsight is always the greatest place to be at, really. We thought 123 was a sort of manageable score, not so much of a high score that Raptors need to be worried about. But it turned out it almost is an uphill task now. Impossible to say the least. 18 runs of the last 6 balls needed out here. You would wonder if how much of those 2 dropped catches or some of those fielding effort have got to contribute. Could they have saved another 5 or 10 runs and made it a little more manageable for them at this stage?
Well, at the end of the day, the mistakes in the first innings were what they were. But when you look at the way they've approached the batting in the second innings, that is a big issue.
Well said.
Driven straight to the fielder at extra cover. For me, the fall of wickets has been key. They have a lot of firepower in this batting lineup. They've got a lot of experience in the skipper, Nika Kalan, Kiana Joseph, Achni Pereira, Ritu Singh. Make that wicket number 9. Amar Paul comes in. She'll pick up her second, and they're in a hurry to finish this game. And that's exactly what I refer to when I say they've lost wickets consistently. Despite having the ability in that lineup to score runs, they've not taken the time to settle in. They've not taken the time to set those partnerships, and it's bowling like this that's consistently continued to peg them away.
How critical, how costly, how expensive that run out of the first wicket was. That was 2 of their biggest batters in the side, Kiana and Anika. They would have probably wanted them to do the lion's share of scoring. And that brief moment of complete confusion sort of opened the floodgates for Waves. They've done well. I've got enormous amount of respect the way Waves have fielded last 6-7 overs now. They have manufactured wickets at a consistent pace, and that, to their credit, they have actually gone out there and won a game that, for all practical purposes, they should not have.
And that is why, even though we call T20 one of the shorter formats, it is a fairly long format. You've got to be able to put those phases together. You've got to realize that 20 overs is a decent amount of time to bat. Calls for catch it, and what a catch that is! Excellent work in the offside. Amarpal, well, she's on a hat trick. 2 wickets, 2 deliveries. She does have the ability to say that she'll finish on a hat trick, but she's brought her side over the line. What a win this is for the Waves. Redmond Raptors never really looked going in the second innings. They have fallen apart for just 105 runs on the cards, but this catch right here, it doesn't get any better than that to summarize their day out on the field. The Waves have been outstanding.
It's a fielding. The fielding that they just hiked up in the last 8 or so overs, and what an absolute stunning catch to finish the proceedings out here. A victory that would set them up brilliantly for the rest of the few days that we have here. They played like champions when it mattered the most. They saw a tiny opening that happened, and they took that, yanked the door open, and got themselves in there.
Well, it looks a bit like a phone number, doesn't it?
Yes.
Single digits for many of those batters. In fact, when you look at that opening pair, apart from them, there really hasn't been much unless you get all the way down to Bandaru. 22 of 23 from her top scoring. You expect your top scorers to be at the top of the batting card, not typically at the bottom. And you've got to hand it to the bowlers because they continue to pick up these wickets at regular intervals, not really allowing for their internationals to get away in Kiana Joseph, not really allowing the likes of Cami Desai, Divya Saxena to get away with runs. The bowlers have been outstanding. A wicket to Gitika Kodali, but it's that economy rate that continues to add on to the pressure for them today. Amarpal Kaur, outstanding. 2 wickets to her along with Chopra, and a wicket each to Rawat and Teki to finish things off. 105 is all they manage in their 20 overs. They've been bowled out as well. 4 deliveries, 3 deliveries short of their allocated 20 overs. And confirmation, the Washington Waves 122 for 6 is all they manage in that first innings after losing the toss and being put in to have a bat first. A really good half century, almost a half century. And it's not actually Tisanvi Sood. We will try and get that corrected for you, but it is the ball that they did really well with the Waves in that second innings, not really allowing the Redmond Raptors to get away. Bandaru top scoring at 22. The skipper 17 off 20, but some outstanding bowling to close things off for them. Excellent work by the Waves. They pick up their first win here in the Seattle Orcas Women's T20 exhibition. And that's going to wrap off the first game as well. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have the post-match presentation.
Here for the post-match ceremony between the Washington Waves and the Redmond Raptors. Excellent game. The Washington Waves taking the victory with a very clinical performance. First, let's award the player of the match. and I think mostly due to a very solid innings of 48 runs, I believe. Taranum Chopra. And this will be handed by the CEO of the Seattle Orcas, Mr. Sean Carey. Taranum, tell me how your team felt batting first on this wicket.
I think it was a little bit tricky service to bat on, but of course, like, all we needed was a partnership, and that was the conversation that was going on in the dugout. So I think me and Yash just did a good job just taking that mindset going in.
Good job taking that mindset. For me, it looked like you were playing to the situation. Tell me about your approach as you considered what your specific influence was on the situation.
I think for me, my game is like, taking the game on, rotating the strike, and then, of course, taking time was one of the things that we had to kind of learn in the moment. We had to take that. It's a long way to go from here.
Well done, real well done. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So let's call forward Miss Anika Colin. Inaugural match of the tournament. A long way to go. Your thoughts as you come out of this match?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Like I said in the pre-match interview, I think it's great to have this experience. Obviously, didn't go our way today, but I mean, we have a few more games coming up, so we're just going to keep our spirits positive and keep going.
Are you happy to have bowled first? Obviously, you chose to bowl first. Thinking back on things, would you have done that differently?
No, I think it was a good decision to bowl first. In the first innings, I think in the first 10 overs, I think we had them at a pretty good place in the game. And the last 10 is kind of where we slipped off. So I think just getting those small things right is what could have brought us over the line. But we always have another game.
Always have another game. Congratulations. Okay, there we go. We'll get that handshake done. Gitika Kadali. Your team, at the halfway point, I didn't think had enough runs.
I think cricket is a funny game, especially the shorter format games. Like, any score can be defendable as long as the team plays together and really holds their nerve. So yeah, I know a lot of people were worried at the halfway point, but like I said at the toss, backing my girls 100%, and the game is not over until it's over,
And it's very cliche, catches win matches. Talk about that catch to end the match at extra cover.
Yeah, I mean, Jazara is an excellent add to this team. I think she brings this knowledge that a lot of other girls haven't experienced yet. So, and she's doing her part sharing it with us, which I'm really grateful for. And apart from Jazara, we also had a lot of other brilliant catches, some good run-outs and stuff as well. So as the wickets kept coming in partnerships, when we worked together as a team, that's, I think, what brought us over the line at the end.
Fantastic. Really well done.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We will come back in probably another hour or so for the second match of the day from right here in Monroe, Washington. See you shortly.